In light of Nigeria being on the countries of interest group, what would be at risk for Nigeria in terms of the US-Nigeria bilateral relations?
I think that, thank you for having me. I think that what has happened is a huge challenge for both Nigeria and the United States of America, and has the capacity of straining the relationship between Nigeria and the US. Indeed, the National Assembly of Nigeria has threatened that they will cut diplomatic ties with the US unless the US takes some, do some thinking and remove Nigeria from the list of countries of interest. And the civil society organizations, many of them have also looked at the issue and of the unanimous view that if you look at the other 9 countries of interest and the 4 countries that are called state sponsors of terrorism, the characteristics and patterns of terrorism or terrorist activities in those countries and do not coincide with that of Nigeria.
Okay, but let's look at the bilateral trade relations, how that's going to be affected and what are the effects for Nigeria going forward. Because according to the IMF, the US is by far Nigeria's largest trade partner, accounting for nearly 45% of the OPEC members' exports. How much of the country's oil output and input will be affected?
Yes, a huge percentage. I think over 25% of all Nigerian export of oil go to the United States of America. And it will be a huge challenge for both countries if this issue is not sorted out diplomatically.
Yeah. Well, let's say diplomatically it is not sorted out. What is the way forward for Nigeria and the US?
I think the way forward is for both Nigeria and the US to actually come to the table and look at it critically. What are the criteria for listing of countries, and what is it that Nigerian government can do to make Nigeria to be removed from the list, and what explanations can the US government offer, and and negotiation to see what could be done to remove Nigeria from the list. I think that the way forward is dialogue between the two countries and arriving at an objective compromise. And from my own perspective, if you look carefully, you will see that either in terms of providing terrorist haven, or in terms of supporting terrorist activities, or even in terms of condoning terrorist activity, Nigeria does not fall into any of those ones.
Okay, well, considering, let's move on to the bilateral trade relations between the two countries, because that's what we're focusing on for this interview. Considering that China has made inroads into Africa, do you think that China can replace the US in terms of being a trade partner?
Yeah, they are interrelated. US and Nigeria have been doing trade for a very long time.
Yeah, but can China replace the US in terms of being a trade partner?
Pardon?
Can China replace the US in terms of being a trade partner for Nigeria?
No, I think that it's not as easy as that. We know that China has been making a lot of effort. There's an offer on table right now in Nigeria, China promising to pay about $50 billion to have some oil blocks in the Niger Delta. I think oil blocks that were hitherto run by Shell, BP, and some other oil blocks. But we also know that there can be a lot of challenges with China's business. The respect for environmental laws and rights of communities is a huge challenge. So it's not a very easy thing to just say US go, China come in. And we also know that the level of consciousness of communities in Nigeria is also very high now. So it's not that easy for any company to just come and then replace any existing one. So, and I think the correct thing is for Nigeria to be able to sort out this diplomatic row with the US. And if China is coming to Nigeria to do any business, to have discussions and ensure that the business is mutually beneficial to Nigeria and China.
Well, we know Nigeria has gone into a rebranding campaign to shed its image of corruption, etc. Do you think Nigeria can, at this point in time, redeem itself at all?
Yeah, I think that if you look at it, for the past 10 years, there has been, even though the campaign has just been launched, Nigerian government and people have been making concerted effort to deal with the challenges of corruption, either through legislative means or through setting up of anti-corruption agencies. And you know that as today, the corruption rating by Transparency of International of Nigeria has improved tremendously over the past 10 years. That does not mean that corruption is not still there or that is not still a challenge. But I think it's a continuing challenge that Nigeria needs to deal with and to do more in order to get the support of the international community and those doing business.
All right.